We're not going to Blighttown yet?
No.
Oh. Oh.
No.
Now I'm disappointed.
No, you actually annoyed me through this journey, so I'm gonna turn this car around.
We're
gonna head back.
We're turning around. We're not. I know you wanted to see. Oh.
We have this
Oh
guy.
yeah. Oh yeah. So this guy will let you get back into the good graces of covenants if you like disgrace yourself or something, right?
Yes. Okay. There's a thing called sin.
Yes.
All right. And I'm not talking about my lifestyle. I'm talking about this game mechanic.
Yeah.
Basically, every time you invade and kill another player, or if you kill an NPC, well, a friendly one, you will raise your sin level by 1. And all of them all count for just 1 sin.
Right.
If you talk to him, he can bring it all the way back down to 0. But the price, it doesn't actually matter what sin level you are. It depends on what level you are. And the higher level, the more expensive sin gets. And you got a gesture, which is
Come
one
at
of the
me.
most infuriating gestures probably I have ever seen.
It's
in anything.
It's the come at me, bro gesture.
It is, but it's not even called that.
So the sin thing, by the way, is another mechanic that is not explained in any way in this game.
It is not. No, you just have to just be a naturally good person and not murder NPCs.
Pretty much.
And when you complete the game, it automatically just shoves you into a New Game Plus, and when that happens, your sin level goes back down to 0, and all enemies, bosses, and NPCs come back to life. So it essentially hits the soft reset button when that happens,
as they tend to do.
So a little bit of foreshadowing here. Let's just say these NPCs, they're not gonna make it past the credits. But don't worry. If they die, they're gonna come back after.
Exactly.
In New Game Plus.
It's okay. Like there's New Game Plus. They'll always come back to life.
They'll come back in the afterlife.
So if we're not going to Blighttown, where are we going next?
I don't fucking know. I think the forest. Yeah, we're going to the forest.
I mean, you just recorded this like a week ago.
No, wait, 2 weeks ago? I don't know, dude. I finished this entire game. I started
in 2 days.
I started Friday evening and I finished Sunday afternoon.
In 2 days, yeah.
Well, it was a bit of on and off.
It was an Admiral marathon of Dark Souls that I would have never been able to do.
That being said, this game was like a whole blur for me.
But like in fairness, how many times have you played this game?
Okay. Do you include New Game Plus?
Sure. Yes.
And do you include the times I finished it on Xbox?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. I completed it 3 times on Xbox.
Yep.
And that was with 1 character. So I moved on to New Game Plus with that character.
Yeah, because there's New Game Pluses past New Game Plus.
Yes.
But yes.
And with every subsequent one, the enemies get more health, they deal more damage, and you get more souls from them.
So that's how many times
Other than that, that's the only difference.
That's how many times you did it on Xbox.
On Xbox. And then on PC, this is 3rd or 4th character.
And how many
I finished the game with?
How many times have you gone through New Game Plus on the PC?
Twice.
So yeah. So
in total about 8 times.
In comparison to someone who has never beaten Dark Souls once, you can get through this game significantly faster than I would be able to.
Yeah. So audience, be grateful I'm the one playing and not Dave here.
Well, that's only if they would prefer to see someone who actually knows how to play the game. Because, there are those weirdos on the internet who love to just watch failure.
Okay, yeah, and for a game like Dark Souls, either you're
either
for people who are finding Dark Souls playthroughs, either you want the player to struggle,
Or
you
you
want
want-
them to be as
yeah.
badass as possible.
Yeah.
And I think I sort of hit an uncanny valley here, like straight in the middle, where I think, well, I'm pretty proud of this character. I did pretty well, in my opinion, but I also died quite stupidly a couple of times.
Like that boar who knocked you into the fire.
Well, that wasn't my fault.
Oh, look at this guy.
You have a Titanite demon, and I don't know why I just left.
They don't respawn, right?
They don't. There's only one in the entire game that does, because
Right.
I think they always drop, except for the respawning one, they always drop Demon Titanite,
Yep.
which is used to upgrade certain weapons, certain unique weapons.
Certain very powerful weapons.
Yeah, and so and having enemies that are the only ones that drop that item, it's not very fair if they never respawn, so they have to include one that does.
Yeah.
For
These
some
guys,
reason they do lightning.
yeah. Well, these guys can be pretty dangerous to the unprepared adventurer as well.
Yeah, and especially me, who is unprepared with the weapons I'm holding. Even though I just upgraded my halberd, it doesn't really do very much damage.
Well, because they're relatively powerful enemies.
They are. I'd say the most annoying part is just how wide their
swing,
reach is.
yeah.
Yeah, and like even even when they don't even mean it, they still hit you.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, he's behind me.
like this
Like, oh,
this particular one didn't give me too much trouble, but there's one in Orlando that killed me over and over and over again.
oh yeah, you bring that up, and I think I actually forgot about dealing with that.
That one was the bane of my existence in that section of the game.
Yeah. And okay, I should have.
Oh.
I should have had used the advantage of the
Oh.
stairs here, because they only swing horizontally,
Yeah.
but I have some elevation to how up and down my attacks can go, but he doesn't.
Right.
So I should have been more smart with that.
Environmental awareness.
Yes.
Oh.
Let's be dead.
Aw. At least we only had 1,600 souls.
Yeah, but I also became hollow. I was human that time.
That's fine.
It's never fine.
We have more humanity. It's okay. Humanity is a replenishable
Yeah,
resource.
actually, first time playing through this game, I thought that humanity was such a limited resource, but but no, actually, humanity is fucking everywhere.
Yep.
And I actually capped it out on my inventory and my bottomless box. Which is, that bottomless box shit, that's misleading, because I thought I could hold more than 99 of an item, but apparently not. It does have a bottom in it.
It's got a bottom after all. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
like with many of the things in Dark Souls, there was not truth in advertising for that.
Yeah. I worked hard getting those 1,000 souls to buy one. That's a huge ripoff. I shouldn't have bought from that flea market.
I would say, I suppose there probably is. I don't think I've used the bottomless box very much, but I suppose there probably is use for it. But I have to say that I greatly appreciate the fact that Dark Souls removed the item load.
I wasn't even around when they had that.
Yeah, the item load limitation was in Demon Souls, and that meant that not only did you have to do management of your equipment, because it still had the swift roll versus fat roll. Wow, that's very close.
So if this game were more realistic, I'd be a skeleton by then.
Demon Souls still had it still had fat rolling and swift rolling and everything.
Yes.
But in addition to that, your strength and endurance and everything also impacted.
Oh. I don't remember dying a second time, actually.
Aw.
Oh, whatever.
What a dangerous demon. For a guy with
I died. You don't have to remind me.
for a guy with one leg and no visible eyes, He's got
Yeah,
impeccable
he doesn't
aim.
have a head. Like,
He's got a chunk of Titanite as a head.
yeah, he's essentially a golem,
Yeah, pretty much.
and golems don't need eyes
Um,
or a second leg. I don't know why they're like this. All of them are like this, which is.
but the item load limitation in Demon Souls is awful. It's awful. It's horrible. It's
Yeah, in like Fallout, the worst feeling ever is when you want to pick up one item, but you already have items that you also don't want to drop.
well, it gets even worse than that as well because like it
Bonfires and stuff.
yeah in Demon Souls especially like the item load is inherently tied to your character's like movement system and everything.
Oh, really? It's not like split in here.
No.
Oh god.
So it's like you have like if you're carrying too many items, you can't do anything.
I guess that makes sense. I mean,
It does, but it's a really limiting.
It makes sense if it implies that your character actually has all of these items in your pockets.
Which would be impractical with the items that you pick up.
Yeah.
But it's a massively limiting factor in the game that is a fantastic removal for Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But it also meant that I personally have not found much use out of the bottomless box because I'm not that far in the
here.
game.
Oh yeah. Have you finished Demon Souls?
No, not that either.
Jeez, man, your knowledge of the Souls games are very limiting here.
It's extensive but limited at the same time.
All right, you just couldn't be bothered finishing. You just read the wiki.
Well, in the specific case of Demon Souls, it's because I consider it to be a harder game than Dark Souls is.
Okay.
And as I've mentioned, I'm not very good at video games. So I'm not very good at Demon Souls.
You know, that's a very weird thing because people have said Dark Souls, this game, is the hardest one in the Soul series.
Dark Souls is less fair than Demon Souls in in specific instances, like locations like Blighttown and Sen's Fortress and Anor Londo are far less fair than the average locations in Demon Souls.
Right.
But the actual like
well, actually, that you say that, but actually, Dark Souls 2 is the
Yeah.
least fair,
Yeah.
but also the easiest in the series.
Are we gonna turn to the right?
No. Dude, you know what, dude? I don't remember half of the things that I've done.
I
don't even remember if I finished this game.
You almost
Like,
spotted it. What a
I don't
shame.
even remember if I finally wear a headpiece.
I wanted to kill the Hydra.
We're gonna do that eventually. I mean, we kind of have to.
But like in Demon Souls, it's like the general enemy encounters that you have are more challenging than most of the ones in Dark Souls, I would say.
Right.
Specifically because there are a lot more enemies who have a lot more nastier combinations of status effects in certain locations, and there are a lot of areas that are not quite as open as the ones in Dark Souls.
I don't know how the level design works in Demon Souls. Does it still like do the loop around thing?
It does, but in a different way. Demon Souls is a hub-based game where you start the game in what basically amounts to the Undead Asylum in this game. It's like a broken down castle or something. And then the first time you die, like you go through like the tutorial section and you get to the first boss, who is very much like the Asylum demon. And realistically, you're not expected to beat him. You can, but it's not expected. So when you die to the boss, you go to a place called the Nexus, which is the central hub of the game, which is just kind of like a big tower. Much like Dark Souls 2, in the Nexus is where you get a whole bunch of like merchants, and it's where you can level up your character by talking to an NPC.
Oh, so it's like Majula.
Yes.
In Dark Souls 2.
Yes. Which is why I say that Dark Souls 2 took a lot of design elements from Demon Souls and Dark Souls and tried to combine them into the same game.
Right.
Two varying effects.
Let's not put down Dark Souls 2 here. It did improve a lot of things.
I do still think it's a good game. You know,
It just has the unfortunate fate of being compared to
Dark Souls.
Yes. which is like the most flawed masterpiece ever created.
Yeah. But when you reach the Nexus, like, you get these 5 different touchstones that you can kind of choose at will to visit, and they'll lead you to one of 5 different major locations. Ooh, we're just kicking.
Yeah,
ooh,
it's very
just kicking
bouncy.
that guy. I love the.
Hey,
I
man,
love
he
the
got my way.
I love the ragdoll physics in this game.
Yeah.
And when you get to the actual locations themselves from the hub, like, they're not connected to the other. They're not connected to the
Man,
other.
I hate crystal lizards.
Yeah, they're not connected to the other major areas, but each of the major areas themselves are separated into roughly 5 like sub areas, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And you go through, so like the first place that you're kind of instructed to go to is called Boletaria, and it's basically a big kingdom with a big castle. And the way that it's kind of denoted in most of the online stuff talking about the game is like Boletaria is World 1, and what's like when you enter it, you're in World 1, Area 1. And
So like in Mario.
yeah, basically. And like, so it goes from 1-1, and then when you beat the boss of that area, you go into 1-2 from the area where you killed the boss. And another big difference that Demon Souls has compared to Dark Souls is that bonfires are incredibly limited. So
More limited?
generally speaking, you only get a bonfire at the start of an area and when you kill a boss. So
Jeez.
yeah, so if you die like halfway through an area, that's it. Like, you're going all the way back to the start. And it does make heavy use of shortcuts like Dark Souls does.
Oh, okay.
But you have to get through the locations in the first place to unlock those shortcuts.
Yeah. Do you think, like, one of the inherent things what made Demon Souls harder was because it was the first in the series and they didn't really thought out
It has a lot more kinks.
all of the things? Like, it wasn't really polished as the other ones?
It has, like, it tries to do a lot of things that were not quite ironed out at the time, because it was the first game that tried to do what it did, basically.
Yeah.
And so like
It was a birth of an entire genre.
yeah, basically, because there are a lot of games since that have tried to emulate that style.
Well, and now we have tons of 2D indie games that are trying to do the same thing. You're not gonna get it in a 2D game, for fuck's sake.
I don't think it's impossible, but it would be very hard.
Oh, it's very possible, but if we're trying to do the shortcut thing, that's gonna be fucking difficult.
I don't know. There's a lot of precedent for that just in Metroidvania titles in the first place.
Watch.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how you deal with dragons.
I just dealt with them the old-fashioned way.
Which is killing them?
Yeah.
Oh no, I just let them phase out of existence.
You do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
They can be incredibly dangerous, though. Especially if you don't have a shield that blocks. Yeah. Oh. Oh. they're
And,
pretty decent for farming souls relatively
Yeah.
early in the game.
So
though.
yeah, fuck that. It's going to hyperspeed. And we
Um,
have. I'm trying to get this item here. It's the bandit armor.
Yeah. But on the subject of 2D games that are trying to like emulate the Dark Souls style, I have to say that I am still interested in the game called Salt and Sanctuary, which
Is that released yet?
no.
Is it out for PC?
I believe it's going to be a PC game, yeah.
Oh, my friend lied to me.
Yeah, and it's one that literally just looks like it's a 2D version of Dark Souls.
Yeah, I know, but there's also like Death's Gambit. That's another Dark Souls inspired thing.
Yeah, but
I just. Okay, yeah. Continue.
Well, Salt and Sanctuary actually looks like it could be very good because it looks like it looks like it understands what makes Dark Souls so good, which is
Oh yeah, they're definitely.
it's a
Clearly made by Dark Souls fans.
yeah, and that's a central reason why so many games that try to emulate other games fail is because they don't understand what made the games they're emulating
Yeah,
good.
that's why George Lucas doesn't understand Star Wars. That's why prequels sucked.
Uh-oh. I know. Ooh.
Uh-oh. This is how I first died. It's actually I
Yeah.
actually came here from the normal way, but
You get sucker punched in the face by that hammer.
yeah.
And you just
And he
immediately
follows
get
you
crushed.
all the way. Okay, for those of you who don't know, up those stairs is like where the Taurus demon is.
Yep.
And this guy follows you all the way up there. So
Yeah. He has some of the heaviest armor in the entire game.
he has the heaviest armor in the game.
Is it actually just the heaviest?
I think so. It's also the most defensive and most poised.
And
That's why it's so popular.
and as we notice, he has incredibly fat roll.
Yeah, which is very ironic.
So I was actually very paranoid about how good shields were in this game.
Oh yeah, I tried blocking this guy. He just turned me into like a pancake.
Yeah, I'm like I
Delicious pancake.
would never have actually I did never try to straight up just block his attacks because I expected them to literally just crush me.
Yeah, on my first character, I was like, I think I'm gonna deal with that guy earlier, and I was like, I'm back, bitch. And then I actually blocked his attacks.
Yeah. I didn't
Okay,
think you
and
I didn't think you
this is
could,
the
but I
character
suppose.
that might teach you how to do parry and to backstab.
Well, so this guy's name is Havel, and
Havel the Rock.
yes,
Johnson.
you can get an item called Havel's Ring.
Yeah, this is what
we
he'll
should-
drop.
you can
He
actually
won't drop any of his armor or his weapons or his shield. He'll drop his ring.
you get the ring from him.
Yes, you get the ring here.
Where
But
you-
all of his other stuff is Anor Londo.
Is it? Oh yeah, it is. Oh
Come on,
yeah.
they're like the most overpowered armor in the game. Why would you get it this early?
Well, because he's a relatively difficult enemy to fight this early in the game.
Yeah, well, look how much I'm dealing with him. I only just killed the bell gargoyles.
You've played the game 9 times.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
You just have to be smart. Man.
the ring that you that's most of the enemies. The ring you get from him lets you increase your equipment load.
And everything ties to your equip load, so that's why this ring is extremely popular.
Havel's ring is a fantastic item if you
Yeah,
want.
And so I'm wearing it now, so I can equip more
Yeah.
more defensive armor. That's why it's taking me a while to go through the menus.
Basically,
And, I did buy chain armor, only the torso though.
Yeah.
From the undead merchant we murdered.
so for me playing this game, Havel's ring became a permanent fixture because I play as a
Turtle.
well, as I don't remember if I picked a knight or a warrior, but one of those two. And while I like having like the 25 to 50% roll, I like having heavy armor. Like I think I used the Eastern armor chest piece for the longest time, and then I ended up switching through various other sets as I kind of collected them. But I've always kind of used medium to heavy armor. And Havel's Ring meant that I didn't have to compromise with most of the armor that I wanted to equip.
That is true. Okay. Now this is what actually separates the noobs and people who are competent with Dark Souls or any. You brought up. You say you play as like a warrior.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Never do that. Because when you've played this game enough times, you will soon to realize your starting class doesn't really matter.
Well, no, it doesn't.
What does matter is the final build that you end up with, that you plan to strive towards, and what the best class is to start off from.
See, the thing about that, though, is that I'm not a metagamer, so I don't care.
Oh, yeah, you did brought up how you hate metagamers.
I absolutely loathe metagaming, and like I have nothing against people who want to do it for their own enjoyment in like a single player game. That's, you know, whatever. It's their enjoyment. That's what they get out of the game. That's cool.
What about Dark Souls? That's, I don't know, is that single player or multiplayer? I don't know.
That's why I don't play it online. but yeah, for me, like I like when I'm playing an RPG, I don't go into, like, I generally speaking don't go into the game with an idea of how I want my final character to look. I go in and see which class immediately grabs my interest and then build it as I'm playing through the game and like deciding
how different would it be if it was like the first time playing through the game and you did that, but the second time going through the game you actually looked up like builds.
Yeah, on subsequent playthroughs, I think I would be more likely to look up how character classes interact with like stat growth and how that kind of can be used and manipulated as you go through the game. But it's not something that's ever, like, I've never really been interested in metagaming because I find most of my fun comes from building my own suboptimal characters.
Right. Yeah, I think the unknowingness of what you're gonna get is playing to the fun factor.
Yeah, and that's why I play the objectively worst class in Dragon Age Origins, which is a sword and board warrior.
Oh boy, I never played as those.
Because everyone's like, every time anybody talks about Dragon Age Origins, they're like, "Oh, you should play as a mage because mages are totally ridiculously
I never
powerful."
played as a mage.
And and I'm just like, I don't want to play as a mage because I don't find that, like, it's the most engaging class to play from like a gameplay perspective.
I guess.
Well, specifically because it has the most abilities to use, and it has the most unique ways that abilities interact with the environment and with your party and with enemies. But it's just so...
Boss time!
Oh yeah, here's the freebie boss.
You can actually see this boss before you enter the area.
It's a cool boss visually. It's an annoying boss mechanically.
Yes, okay. Visually, you get an enchanted feeling, but you also get a sense of like eeriness from it.
Yeah. It's a very annoying boss to actually fight, though.
Yeah,
Ugh.
okay, so normally normal people would summon an NPC for this fight because she has magic attacks that are all ranged.
Yep.
But my character is completely melee.
Yep.
With the exception of fireballs, but that's not going to do anything. So I'm just going to have to wait. Yeah, so for other boss fights, I'm going to summon NPCs just, so I can talk about them. But the NPC that I could have summoned here, but I forgot to, is a witch who is called Beatrice. And she doesn't really do much. she's just a sorcerer. Like, she has access to spells, and I don't know. She has a big witch hat, I guess. I don't know. There's not really much to talk about her.
Is it pointed or is it curled?
curled, I think. No, it's pointed. It's curled at the bottom, and then it has a sharp point.
Oh, there we go. Now you can finally hit her.
Yeah, I thought fire would do more damage than my halberd because I went by Pokemon rules.
How did that work out for you?
It would have been faster just to use my halberd. But come on, like, on fire type against bug type and probably psychic type, like, come on.
We're not playing Pokemon, we're playing Dark Souls.
I wish I was.
Pokemon's
But
pretty
then
fun.
again, I should have known better because lightning is very effective against stone dragons.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
And the reason why I switched out my shield to a shitty one is because this one has more magic. Elemental defense than the dragon fire shield that I had before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so
all of the
these
shields have
attacks are-
different resistances.
They do. And so this boss has entirely magic-based attacks. So there's no point in having a 100% physical defense shield.
There
And
are
it's also entirely ranged, so which is very annoying.
there are a bunch of the crystal caverns that you find much later in the game. There's a ton of these guys just kind of hanging
Yeah,
out.
that's when you find out where these. Okay. One thing that I really hate is finding bosses at the first parts of the game as bosses, but later in the game become regular enemies.
So you don't like the Taurus demon and Capra demon is what you're saying.
Yes. I don't like seeing them. I thought they were unique. I thought they were special, but apparently no.
I mean, when they're just called demon, what would you really expect?
Well, they don't have to be goat or bull themed demons. They can be another one.
But it's like it's like the Titanite demons. Although I guess they're never. I mean, well the Capra demon and Taurus demon are kind of tutorial bosses in a manner of speaking as well.
I guess, but you find the Capra demon quite later on, actually.
That depends on what direction you take. Like if you go
Normally you'd fight the gargoyles right after the Taurus demon.
Yeah, but if
then you'd go here after the bell gargoyles.
Well, not necessarily, because you might
Oh,
might elect to be a madman and go right for Blighttown.
Well, yeah.
It's not the smart choice, but it's still a choice that people might make.
It is a choice. That's what I like about this game.
Exactly.
One of the reasons is, you could be an idiot. Or you could be a brave idiot.
There we go. And
That's
the
that
easiest
was
boss
fun.
in the game is dead.
It's not the easiest boss in the game.
One of them.
Let's be frank here.
Well, one of them.
Yeah, and so, looking at that with my character, I used 5 Estus flasks.
Yep.
And I had 10 originally, and that's because I had the Firelink bonfire to begin with give you 10 Estus, but all the other ones, like all the ones with Firekeeper have 10, but
the Divine
all the
Ember.
rest have 5.
Are we going to use that Divine Ember next time?
No.
Oh.